Here we are, Spencer. So
We're here.
We are here. We're here at the Romford Cinema.
Yes.
The official name of the Romford Cinema, has it changed recently?
It's going to be by the 28th of March. It will be Lumiere.
Lumiere.
Named after Romford's very first ever commercial cinema.
Wow. And the reason for that being?
So we decided that we wanted to give people back a traditional cinema experience whilst being quite high tech at the same time. So we started thinking about the sort of things that people talk about. So people, when this cinema shut, people were talking about, it's the usual thing. They don't make cinemas like they used to, and bring back Saturday morning pictures and all these sort of things. Yes. But I've been hearing this for years, and as I'm getting older and older, I'm thinking to myself, actually, I would like a Saturday morning pictures experience.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
So, head and shoulders above everything else, when we were designing this, we thought to ourselves, we are going to have Saturday morning pictures. So that was like stage one, tick.
Now, for me, Saturday morning pictures was a thing as a young kid. I could come to the cinema for £1 and experience some of those films that perhaps my parents couldn't afford to take me every week. But I ended up experiencing the cinema every week because it was affordable.
Yes.
So is that the kind of thing you're looking to achieve? Is Saturday morning pictures the same thing for everyone?
Well, I think that a lot of people have memories of the time where you would have an A movie and a B movie, and your B movie would be something probably quite short. Okay. And then we started thinking about the old Republic serials. So we're talking, Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe and King of the Rocket
going
Men.
back to the original cinema experience.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what we thought we'd do is we'd almost create a 1970s BBC children's school holiday experience, and we would do that on a Saturday. So you will come in and you would get something like Laurel and Hardy or Harold Lloyd. So this is, bearing in mind, this is Saturday morning pictures for grown-ups.
Yes.
Yeah? And then you would get a Republic serial. So it might be Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe, or as I say, any of the other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head. Yeah. And then something like Tom and Jerry, Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow.
And then
you're really taking this back to an experience and what the cinema world seems to have kind of lost a little bit. It seems to have lost that experience touch. And I guess we're getting that back with cinemas such as like the Everyman, where they've got comfortable sofas and they've got that experience of someone brings in your food once you've ordered it, and that's a bit more of an experience that people are enjoying. But the multiplexes have completely lost that, and they've become a little bit cold, I think.
Yeah.
Is that why you've made this change?
we wanted to make it. We wanted to give people memories of the past, but also we wanted new people, a new era,
new generation,
and that's the word.
Yes,
to enjoy that experience for the cheesiness of it, the campness of it, or just the nostalgia of it, to feel that it's something really interesting and fun. And what I was going to say is, right at the end, so this whole Saturday morning experience will be 2 hours of sort of retro TV stroke Republic serials that showed in cinemas. And then you cap it off with something like The Poseidon Adventure or Jason and the Argonauts or Sinbad. All those sort of films, those real epic films that probably people my age and older will remember from Sunday afternoons when the family would gather together.
Well, I do. I'm only just turning 40, and I remember those films on a Sunday afternoon. But you don't find them on TV much anymore, do you?
No.
They're not repeated as much as they used to be. You have to go out and specifically look for it.
Yep.
But I also think that those films are enjoyed so much more on the big screen.
Yes. Yeah.
In the community environment.
Yeah.
I've never experienced those films there, and I would love to.
Yeah.
And so what made you, what put you in this position to make this change with the cinema then?
So I'm a strong believer that the cinema system is broken. And the reason why I say the cinema system is broken is because everyone is chipping away at a cinema. The insurance, the business rates, the studios, they're all taking away and compliance. It's all taking away from the magic of the cinema. Everything is being evaporated. You show a Disney film, and roughly out of that admission ticket, whatever that admission ticket might be, the cinema's probably getting 12p per admission. And
how does a business, even if you look at the seats in here and you add up the 12p's, you've only got £1.20 for 10 people. How does a business run on that?
Exactly.
How do you pay an hourly wage to someone and so on?
So what we thought we'd do is actually, if we turn this into a charitable offer, we make this very much part of the community. We tweak it a little tiny bit, so we don't just make it a cinema, we make it something else. So it's going to become an events venue. Yes. We're going to have cabaret. We're going to have reunions. So just one of the ones that comes into my mind, well, two of the ones that come into my mind is a Long Good Friday reunion, Mona Lisa reunion. We're connected with all of these people already as a film festival, and it makes sense to us to reach out to those people and do those sort of events that you would normally only get in central London, in Romford of all places.
Yes, yeah.
There's no reason why we can't create the wonder of some of those West End cinemas in Romford.
In Romford.
There was some statistics that I was exposed to.
We're still inside the M25?
We are, yeah.
We're still inside the M25.
We are London.
So this is part of London. It is accessible,
yes.
Romford.
Yep.
And you host international film festivals here, don't you?
Yeah.
You have people come to this cinema in Romford.
Yes.
From all over the world.
Yes. On Saturday, 2 days from now, probably I would go as far as to say only 1% of the people that will be here will be from Romford, and everyone else is from across the country or across the world. And I think that's great. And if people, people always say to me, oh, we couldn't do that because it's in Romford, it's too far out of London. But actually, if an Italian will come to Romford to watch films, it's not that it's too far out, it's that we're too lazy. And actually, if we want to really hold on to the things that are strong to us, we've got to put ourselves out and make those journeys.
And but you say it's too far out. What did it take me? I came from Stratford today. 20 minutes.
Yeah,
on the train, like nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you come from Romford and you went to somewhere like Genesis, it's actually going to take you longer to get to Genesis from Romford than it would take if you came from Stratford to Romford.
Yes, yeah.
It's just an easier route in terms of the whole trip. But what I was going to say was I was exposed to some data that said that something like 10% of the audience of Havering have never been to a cinema in Havering. They go to the cinema, but they go to cinema outside of Havering. So I started thinking about what's the experience outside of Havering that makes people go outside rather than coming here.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was all the things that we were picking up on. That was all the things that were kind of resonating with the people that as we were talking and we were doing our research and we were talking to, started hinting, putting little things out there, little surveys out there. These were all the things that people wanted that would come back. They didn't care that, we used to refer to somewhere like this as being a bit of a flea pit.
What I kind of get the impression with you though, Spencer, I kind of get the impression that you've done this research, but you kind of knew some of the answers already. You live cinema, don't you? cinema is your life. You love being. I've been to one of your festivals before. I can tell you love being here in this environment.
Yes. Yeah. There's something magical about coming to a cinema and making a discovery.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that really happens unless you go to a film festival. So creating a cinema off the back of some film festivals,
mm-hmm.
I think might make that magic happen for other people.
Yes, definitely.
I mean, I should add, we're not just going to be that cinema that does weird stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have
You're
4
not just
screens.
Well, it's not weird. It's events.
But you know what I mean?
I'd say it's special stuff.
Yeah. So we're going to have.
But you're going to have the normal films here as well.
4 screens of the mainstream releases.
Yeah.
1 screen dedicated to independent film.
Mm-hmm.
1 screen dedicated.
It's a long word.
It's too long. There's not been enough sleep this week. 1 screen dedicated to the silver screen. So anything from 2024 backwards to 1927
mm-hmm.
or thereabouts. And then we're going to have 1 screen that is going to be dedicated to the kind of Curzon experience. Those films that wouldn't normally come out to the peripheries that you would have to travel to go to. Mm-hmm. We're going to bring them here.
Wonderful.
And we are going to make losses to start off with, and we know and accept that. But actually, as soon as people realise that offer is here...
This is the place to come for those films.
And you don't have to pay £15 to see those films. You're going to pay much less than that to come here. So if you're not a member of Lumiere, it's going to cost you £6.99. But if you become a member of Lumiere, it's going to cost you £4.
Amazing.
And that's any film, any type of film.
You can't even buy a McDonald's meal for that.
No, exactly.
But you get that experience of the cinema. You get to be in the community. You get to experience a film how it should be experienced.
Yes.
And for £4,
no, absolutely,
it sounds crazy money to me. So I'm buying a ticket.
Excellent, well done.
But this is only a brief conversation that I'm having with you now because we've got a lot of guests lined up at this film festival.
Yes.
Tell me about the film festival that's happening here this weekend.
So we are at Romford Horror. This is our 5th year.
And we call it HorRHIFFic?
HorRHIFFic, yes.
How do we pronounce it?
Well, it's horrific. It's horrific. But what we did is we inserted Romford Horror International Film Festival in the centre of horrific. So that's why it's misspelled horrific.
And being dyslexic, I looked at that and was like, where do I even start?
Exactly.
Horrific. We're at horrific.
It's funny, as time's gone on, I've had to explain it less and less. But
of course.
When it first started, it's everyone... You do know there's like a spelling error in your festival's title. So it's a 4-day horror film festival, 5th year. This year, because we're about to open up this cinema as something different, we've decided to run over 7 screens over 4 days, showing 240 films, features and shorts.
And what kind of, obviously horror, but tell me a little bit about the films that we should expect to see here.
So you've got everything from the real classics. So right now, I think we're playing Threads in screen 2.
That's one I was hoping to watch.
And I think we're playing Cat People.
See, these are the films
5.
that would pull me in.
Yeah.
They would bring me through the door as a movie lover.
Yeah.
But then I guess I might stay to watch something else as well.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's where the indie films come in. So we've got all these indie films over other screens. So we lure you in. If you're not someone that's familiar with independent film, we lure you in.
Yeah.
And then we make you watch other things. And suddenly you realise, and this is, I think, the magic of a film festival. 1 minute you're sat there on your own, or there's a couple of you on your own, and then the next minute you suddenly discover you're talking to a filmmaker. And if you're not someone that's familiar with meeting filmmakers, it might be quite an exciting experience. And then, of course, it gets you curious about the sort of film that person might make. So then, of course, you start to deviate away from the mainstream stuff, and you think, actually, we met that guy. He's really, really nice.
Yes, yeah.
Let's go and watch his film. Let's see what his stuff is. And that's what's happening out there right now. 3 hours ago, I introduced a group of people together, and now that group of people have deviated away from their original plan, and they're going in to watch this person's short film that is currently playing in Screen 8.
Beautiful. All through that human connection.
Yeah. And I think that's really, I think that's a lovely thing about a film festival. And I think the other lovely thing about a film festival is a large amount of filmmakers really appreciate what you do and what you do for them. You provide everyone wants to see their film on a big screen.
Of course, yeah. They've put a lot of work into their craft, into their art. And it is hard for independent filmmakers to get their film out into the world and to get it seen.
Yeah.
And so events like this are hugely important for them.
Yeah. And some of the international filmmakers that come over are really excited to be here.
Of course, yeah.
Like almost beside themselves with excitement. And I think that's really funny.
Yeah. And when you say funny, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by
well, you know,
funny,
like if you work in an environment, and you're like, yeah. You know, what is this? But Peter and I always have this conversation. More people know about the Romford Film Festival in Rome than know about it in Romford. Italians love us, what we do here in Romford. They really, really love it.
Whilst you're a community event, it isn't necessarily a community event based on location.
No.
It's about the subject. It's about the types of people that you're bringing together. So actually, it wouldn't actually matter if you were the other side of the country, up in Scotland somewhere, doing this.
Absolutely.
You're doing it.
I always remember one of my... I've told this story earlier on today, but I think this is really fun. You actually interviewed this couple, but there was an Italian couple that came over for the May Festival.
Yes, I know the couple, yes.
They showed a film that was... how can I describe it? It's almost like a picture that came to life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's how they described it as well.
Excellent. I'm glad we're on the same page. But it's, you know, like...
I want to say Julian.
Yes.
It's been a little while, but I do remember them well.
Their film was about like young people hanging out in fields, having a nice time, having conversations, talking about... making wine, picking grapes. You know, it was a beautiful film, but for a lot of people, it probably doesn't make sense. So these people came, they were there from the very first minute the doors opened. They talked to people and they kept saying to them, oh, we've made this film and it's on blah, blah, blah. And then people were saying to them, oh, you know, what's your film about? And then they'd tell them, and then you just see their eyes drifting off into space because they're like, yeah, no, I want to go and watch something more entertaining.
Yeah.
But these people made the audience love them. And by the time their film...
Do you mean them as people, as people, individuals?
Yeah. So by the time their film actually came to screen, they had... half of a full house for a film that we didn't actually sell any individual tickets for, not one. They had half of a full house. That was all the festival pass people. And then at the end of the film, they voted for them as the best film.
Amazing.
And it wasn't, oh, we feel sorry for these people that have come over from Italy and nobody came to watch their film. It was... I watched a film that I wasn't expecting to enjoy, and I loved it. And that was why they got the votes, and that's why they...
Do you think it had something to do with them as people as well? They loved...
Certainly, they brought the people in.
They brought the people. And I believe that is very true with everything that you do, that people buy people first.
This thing that we're doing here. You know, people, for some unknown reason, buy into me, and then I can spend 10 minutes talking to people about the dream for this cinema and how it's going to look and whatever. And suddenly you're almost like, people are almost handing money over to me. That's how it feels. You know, it's like, yeah, okay, take my money now.
So this is good. This has taken my mind on somewhere that's a controversial topic at the moment, very hot topic. And I'm going to say something controversial. AI doesn't scare me because of that. because of that people buying people.
Yeah.
There is a fear in the movie industry that AI is going to take over and destroy it. I think it's going to be a new challenge for us, and to work out how to use this tool to the best of its advantage. But I'm not scared of it destroying the industry.
No.
Because we as people won't buy it.
Yeah.
We won't part with money.
Yeah.
With this stuff that hasn't come from human creativity, from human connections.
We just don't want it.
No, we know.
We want it. We don't want it in that format.
No.
There are ways that we want it.
Mm-hmm.
I use AI every single day. It helps me massively.
Yes,
and as I'm getting older and not as sharp, it's doing everything from correcting my spelling to helping me come up with ideas. It's helping me to learn. Like there was a day where you go to Google and you would search for a specific subject. So someone said to me yesterday, I need your IDIs. IDI? What's an IDI? Go into Google, what's an IDI? Not a clue. There's all sorts of weird things that come off of being an IDI. But go to AI and you ask about an IDI. What is an EDI
Yes.
in relation to a cinema? And it tells you what it is. But Google search
can't put that into context.
Can't put that together. I used Gemini was the particular one that I used, and I used that to help me to do everything from square footage. These aren't skills that we're not primarily.
No, that we could do with tools to help us. I think as human beings, we're tool builders, aren't we? And this is the new tool. We've just got to figure out how best to use it. But that human connection isn't something that we need a tool for.
No.
We enjoy it, we love it, we crave it.
Yeah.
And we also buy it.
Yeah.
We also come to these festivals because there's other humans here. And that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I'm very much looking forward to experiencing this festival this weekend. HorRHIFFic.
It definitely is.
What are you most looking forward to as we wrap up this conversation? This is the beginning of the festival for you. So what are you looking forward to from this weekend?
Do you know what? I think I've already had the bit that I was looking forward to. I kid you not, this time yesterday, I could not see how this festival would go forward. There was so much wrong. There were so many issues. And then last night, right at about 11:30, we discovered something that had happened that we could not fix. There was nothing we could do to fix it last night, and we all just went home, all a little bit. Yeah,
I know that feeling.
We were resolved to the fact that something terrible was going to happen today. And then at 8:15 this morning, I was walking across the lobby and someone banged at the door and they said to me, "Are you open yet?" Bearing in mind we open at 11 o'clock. And they said, "This festival is amazing. It's meant so much to me. I just couldn't wait to get here." So they got here so early that we couldn't let them in. And then that first hour of watching the queue go all along the window, all along the corridor, heading towards the car park. And I just thought, yeah, we've done something good here. And I've said to people right at the start, listen, we've had some problems, blah, blah, blah. Gave this old spiel, and everyone's like, yeah, okay. Whatever.
So how have you overcome the issue then that you thought might cancel this event?
We didn't.
You didn't overcome it. You just
we
pushed
didn't
forward.
overcome. We just went forward and we just rethought about how we were going to do things. We changed what we were doing, and it's like, okay, well, we just accept the fact that that's not going to work, and this isn't going to happen, and that isn't going to happen.
That's quite hard to do, to accept that, but it's a very good thing to do as well.
And I'm sat there with the app, ready to start refunding people. I haven't given a refund yet.
The show must go on.
The show's gone on and out there now. In the cinema right now on a Thursday afternoon. We've probably got about 350 people here.
Amazing.
And this is the quietest day. So we're past the worst part.
Good.
And we've made new friends. And that's the other thing. We've made new friends, and we've made new friends that we've already discovered are forgiving of your mistakes.
Amazing.
As long as you're straight up with them. And we were straight up with these people, and they're like, okay, well, we're here for fun.
Yeah. That's great.
Give us fun. So we did.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Spencer, for sharing.
Thank you very much.
I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you inviting me to the festival. I'm looking forward to this weekend myself. But if anyone is watching or listening and they want to find out more about your cinema, the Lumiere, as it's about to be renamed, where do they find out about you?
So, to be honest with you, there's not an awful lot out there that you can find. We've got
right now. Your top secret, invitation only. Is that
so? Yes,
because
so
it's all new.
It is all new. So there's a crowdfunder. I'm not asking you to contribute to the crowdfunder, but there is a crowdfunder that tells the story. So if you type in Lumiere crowdfunder, you will find out our story. And as I said, I'm not asking you to contribute to our crowdfunder, but if you want to know about the story, that's the best way to do.
Take a look, and I'll put links in the comments below.
And what's going to happen is by the time we get into March, when we open, there'll be a lot more information about what we do and why we're doing it, and our website. We've got a number of websites. We've got the Romford Film Trust website, which will kind of be pushing out there as soon as the charitable formation has completed. And then there'll be the Lumiere website, which is about the cinema, but the Romford Film Trust website is the bigger picture.
Wonderful. Well, thanks again, Spencer.
Thank you.
And if anyone has been watching or listening, thank you for joining us for this conversation. We very much appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Spencer.
Thank you.